is when my locks just locked. Real talk. I swear, I kid you not. The moment I just had it up to here, I'm like, you know what? If I don't see no progress, that's it. That same day, that same week, that same month, I swear I've seen all kind of progress. Real talk. And that takes me to an emotional moment. I was thinking about quitting. I was being impatient. I just wasn't confident. I wasn't seeing what I wanted to see. And eventually, like that, I did. And the first thing I was excited about was, you know what? You achieved the goal. You want it to be locked. Your hair locked. Then came that confidence boost, then came all that other excitement stuff that comes with it, that you're looking for. I was ultimately happy immediately because, again, I was this close to saying screw it all. So when I finally started seeing it, I'm like, all right, great. This is what I wanted. This is what I needed. I achieved my goal. I could do this. I wasn't in my head anymore, as far as, thinking I couldn't do this. So this was like a really, really exciting part for me. And with that came, just the confidence. I lived so long in the doubt and insecurity and the worry about if it's gonna do it, if it's not gonna do it, that I was missing those moments to love on my hair and appreciate it and dose on it and enjoy it. I was just so stressed and strapped all the doggone time, honestly speaking. So it was a very emotional, happy, exciting moment. First, one, I achieved the goal. Two, I realized, okay, you just bugging for no reason. And three, I saw it. I knew other people saw it, so I knew I was on my way. So that was really, really exciting for me because, again, like, I was negative, doubting, self-sabotaging. I was at a point where I was ready to give up, comb out, or cut out my locks at one point because I just could not take the days and weeks and months that I felt like I was doing the most, and nothing was happening of any any purpose make me feel like I should stay on this journey. So I'm just gonna just say that right there. So again, it was emotional, very, very emotional. Like, I just remember, mentally thinking, what did I do wrong? Why is it not looking like this? Why is it not looking like that? I remember those moments. I just will not forget those moments. So when I finally changed, my attitude changed, when my hair changed, when I didn't realize I was changing, but then I did realize, I'm like, wow, look at you now. Look at you post 1 year, post 2 years. Look how much you've grown mentally, spiritually, and emotionally and physically. You're seeing your hair change in real time. That was the dopest part of it all, and just realizing, like, wow, I achieved the goal. I achieved the goal of something I thought I could never do. I had no experience in that all. I didn't even think I would actually do for real my real life. And I did that. That was super dope for me because, again, I'm an introvert. I'm kind of like, I don't know, go with the flow ish. So that was really, really exciting for me. Like, I achieved the goal. I did that. My hair locked. Like, she's the bad man, pajama. Like, I did that. Like, it was so exciting, and that led me to, no more doubt, no more worry, no more self sabotage, no more looking at this person, that person, YouTube, social media, out in the streets, celebrities thinking how their hair looks the way their hair looks and why my. No more, none of that. I crossed the yellow brick road and crossed the path to the next phase, to the next cycle of. I'm beyond that. I'm in the journey. My process is moving. Like, I didn't have to worry about, those negative feelings. I know it's my way. Eventually, every lock in my head was just automatically transformed. Mostly every lock, with the exception of the immediate root and the very end shaft, because I started off with loose, curly ends, was fully locked. Yes, it was messy, it was disheveled, but it was finally working. It was like ding, 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 ding. It finally worked. That was amazing. Like, that was the ice cream, sugar, sprinkles on top. It finally worked. So again, I was super impatient with myself. I was super negative. I was super insecure, doubting, self sabotage, asking 1,000 questions at the live session all the time, calling, texting, DMing, YouTube dumping on pages with all this information of BS filling my head with more BS and just running myself ragged. That's the best way to put it. Running myself ragged. When I say all those things, it's like I went through all that for nothing. I didn't need to do none of those things, but I did all of those things. And I did all those things because I was scared and insecure and worried. But when it changed, I knew it was goodbye to all of that. No more worry, no more doubt, no more self-sabotage, no more impatience, no more negative feelings, because I saw my own eyes. It was doing what it's supposed to do. Other people saw it, and again, I was right there ready to quit. And as soon as I was there, all of a sudden, my hair was locked. What do you know? Just like that. The moment, the second, the minute, the hour, the day I was ready to quit, all of a sudden, my hair was locked. Call it God, call it faith, call it the journey. I don't know. I feel it's the journey. I feel it's God. I feel it's all of those good things wrapped up in a bowl with a, sprinkles on top, but I say all that to say, in the last moment, what I wanted came through. In the last moment, my goals came true. In the last moment, everything worked out. I didn't have to stress anymore, which takes me to the realization part of everything. The realization part of everything for me was really more like, you know what? You were never in control at all at any point of this journey. You thought you were, but you weren't. You were never in control. Your locks were in control the entire time. They owned and manned the ship. You were just a subordinate employee, a crew member on the ship. You never, you never controlled anything. Never. And that was the key factor for me. Like, you know what? My locks were in control the whole time. It really wasn't me. It was my locks. My locks were in control the entire time. I just thought I had control. I just thought I could control it. I just thought I knew everything. And I didn't. And we learned it the hard way, right? That's how it happens. I say all the things to say that, it made me appreciate the journey so much more, because now it's like, wow, now that I see how this journey is going, how the process is, how the transition happens, how the time is not of the essence, the time is just, a marathon kind of situation. It's like, wow, you have a greater founder appreciation for the journey. You have a greater love for what you're doing. You have a greater love for hanging in there, not quitting, not giving up. But you have a greater love now for all these things, because now hey, Jose, how are you? Now it was worth it. It was working. You just couldn't control everything. You thought you could, but you could not. And that was the the worst part of it. The best part of it. You stayed to see everything flourishing at the end. That was the best part of it for me. So for me, again, it was looking forward to the journey. What was gonna be next in the journey? What was gonna be the next chapter? What did the next chapter look like? Was it just specifically about, growth, 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 progress, 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 struggle, struggle, struggle? Like, what did the next phase look like? And I was excited to see all of that good stuff. I was excited to see all of it. All of it was super exciting for me. And again, it made me feel silly that, I thought I couldn't do this. It made me feel silly that, I almost gave up. It made me feel silly that, I realized I was changing at the very end. It made me feel really silly that I realized my attitude was changing at the end. That my hair was changing at the end. That my mindset was changing at the end. Like, I just wish I could have saw it then. But, no more shoulda, coulda, wouldas. That was then. This is now. And I say all these things to say that I know it's not just me. I know I'm not the only person in this country, in this world, on this globe that joined the journey and had the same insecurities and questions and issues. Like, I know it's not just me, and again, I know it's not just me, because I see all the titles of people on YouTube producing similar content or better content or content for people that have questions about their hair, so again, that's what made me do this channel altogether, honestly speaking, just putting up a channel just to see if people will be able to look for information and answers that I feel like I couldn't find from the initial beginning. But I feel like I'm going off path right here. I don't want to go too off path right now. The whole point of everything is, the moment I was ready to quit, everything flourished and it happened the way I wanted it to, and again, that moment for me was more or less of a moment of, is it gonna happen or is it not gonna happen? How long are you waiting to see if something's gonna happen? Like, how long are you willing to sit in there and hold in to make sure it flourishes? Like, are you willing to? Are you about that life? That's what it was for me, and again, I'm happy I stayed there, because, change happened in the right moment. Change happened when I needed it to happen. Change happened when I was ready to quit. Change happened when I was starting to doubt myself. And change happened when I was just like, you know what? If it's for me, it's for me. It's not, it's not. And when I took all that energy away from my hair, my photos, my mindset, my energy, my spirit, my aura, the comparison, when I took all that energy away, and when I took it all away, my hair did what it was supposed to do. So imagine if I would have never had any of the energy from jump. It would have been where it's supposed to have been. But you know, it's not about going backwards, trying to redo and recapture and control everything. Again, I learned I never had control. And maybe you guys may not feel like you have control either. You know, and I the only thing to say, my change came at the best time for me. My change came at a time where I felt like, you know what, I needed to learn a valuable lesson. And that valuable lesson was I was never in control of my locks. My locks were in control of me. And I made it on the journey. I survived, I flourished, and I grew, and I'm still growing. And no more doubt, no more insecurity, no more fear, no more anxiety, no more stress. I made it. Period. On God, I made it. 6 years locked. Like I said, I got an ebook out on Amazon. So what actually mattered, what didn't matter in my life journey. If you do not have an Amazon account, you can actually get this book as a PDF on Gumroad. And thank you guys for watching, vibing, chilling, following me, subscribing, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I'll see y'all later. Peace, y'all.